The Oklahoma City Thunder has been playing some lights out basketball as of late, and I think they solidified themselves as one of the best teams in the Western Conference. We look at the Oklahoma City Thunder right now. They won 7 out of their last 10 ball games. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're sitting at number 2 in the Western Conference behind the Minnesota Timberwolves with a record of 10-4. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they've become one of those teams that if they're playing against a team that you're rooting for, you're going to be very annoyed and very stressed watching them play your team. And I really hope they don't run into a team that I like in the playoffs, because I'm going to be pacing back and forth for each and every game of that series, because the Oklahoma City Thunder, this team is really a problem. And before we get into what's making this team so great, what's got them playing so well, I just want to point out some very crazy numbers that they're putting up right now. First off, look at their most recent win against the Portland Trail Blazers, where they won that game by 30-40 points. It was one of the most efficient performances in NBA history. They shot 60% from the field, 60% from the three-point line, and 100% from the free throw line. And that's something that's only been done once in the last 25 years in the NBA. So that's been pretty crazy. We look at their last 4 games offensively, they've been ridiculous. They've put up 120 points in their last 4 games. Right now, they're ranking number 5 in offensive rating and number 6 in defensive rating. And we know too many teams in the league is not ranking top 10 in both of those categories. Usually when you're one of the teams that's going to contend for a championship. And I definitely see that inside the Oklahoma City Thunder. And right now, another impressive thing about OKC is that they have a better record on the road than they do at home. Right now, they have a record of 4-3 at home and a record of 5-1 on the road. And my apologies, the Oklahoma City Thunder have a record of 6-1 on the road and a record of 4-3 at home. But nonetheless, that is very impressive by this young basketball team, figuring out ways to get it done on the road, especially this early in the season. Every single basketball game matters if you're trying to get into the playoffs. One game could be the difference between you sitting in the 6th place in the Western Conference or you sitting 9th place in the play-in tournament. But nonetheless, I just wanted to run them numbers by you guys. And now that we talked about that, we can talk about what we're seeing on the basketball court from this Oklahoma City team. And the number one thing that's really standing out to me is the offensive versatility of this basketball team. And we look at the offense of the Oklahoma City Thunder, there is so much to unpack, and there's so many factors that make them one of the best offenses in all of the NBA. And when you have a player by the name of gilgeous-alexander on your basketball team, scoring the basketball and scoring points are going to come by so easily. Now, I think Gilgeous, he's established himself as one of the best players in all of the NBA, and not only that, he's one of the best offensive catalysts in all of the NBA. And what I mean by that is that he's so good at scoring the basketball. Sometimes teams try so hard to stop him. Sometimes they forget that he has some pretty good teammates around him, and now guys are getting open three-point looks. They're getting easy dunks, easy cuts to the rim. And a lot of that is because Gilgeous is so good and so talented at scoring the basketball. And now we look at this Oklahoma City Thunder, particularly this starting 5. It's the perfect starting 5 to have around a player like Gilgeous-Alexander. Now we look at how he gets his 30 points per game. He is one of the best isolation scorers in all of the NBA, and he does a lot of his damage from inside of the three-point line. He does not take many threes. He gets to that mid-range area, and he does a great job of getting downhill. So now the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have a personnel and they have a starting 5 where they can run that 5-out offense, and we don't really see this too often in the NBA. There's not many teams that have a stretch 5 that they can let linger out on the three-point line for a majority of the game, like the Oklahoma City Thunder have with Chet Holmgren. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, according to the numbers, are one of the best three-point shooting teams in all of the NBA. Not one of the best, but they are the best three-point shooting team in all of the NBA. Right now, they're shooting it at a 41% clip. So those two things really go hand in hand. You have the best driver of the basketball in the NBA in Gilgeous-Alexander, and then you have guys around him that's hitting the three ball at a very high clip. It's putting teams in situations where they really have to pick their poison. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is dominating his one-on-one matchup, he's getting to his spots with ease. Now coaches have to make that very hard decision if they want to key everybody in on him and start leaving guys open for three-point shots, and you take your chances of the best three-point shooting team according to the numbers missing their shots. So you have to choose between those two things right there. So I think that alone, the Oklahoma City Thunder allowing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to do what he does and do what he does best, that right there alone opens up so much for this offense. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a very smart basketball team. They're a very savvy basketball team. Shai Gilgeous is not just kicking the ball out and at the end of the shot clock and guys are checking up a three, but they do a great job. All five of these guys do a great job of moving the basketball, moving without the basketball. They know when to cut, they know how to find a cutter, and they're just a beautiful team to watch on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that right there alone makes them very hard to stop. And then also the emergence of Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren coming back to the Oklahoma City Thunder has taken this offense to a new level, and it allows them to do so many other things on the offensive side of the ball. And so far this season, I think Chet Holmgren has been nothing short of amazing and also impressive. Now, Chet Holmgren, all I'm going to say is he definitely deserves to be in that Rookie of the Year conversation. I don't care how hype another player's name is. What Chet Holmgren has been doing so far this season has simply been unreal and insane for a rookie season. What stood out to me, I just looked at his numbers. He's having a 50-40-90 season. 7 feet tall, 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line. And get this, Chet Holmgren, he's averaging 17 points per game, so the volume is there to make that 50-40-90 even more impressive. He's averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks per night. But looking at how he unlocks this offense, takes this offense to a new level for the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's his ability to stretch the floor. Now, we talked about the best player on the team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how he's one of the best drivers of the basketball in all of the NBA, and he actually drives the most each and every night. And usually the player on the best team that has the best chance at stopping the player at the rim is the center. And now with Chet Holmgren implemented into this offense, usually the tallest player or the rim protector on the team is going to be guarding Chet Holmgren, and with him shooting 40% from the three-point line, you're not going to really be able to leave him out there wide open. And we all know how it is. Centers, they naturally want to go down and they want to help at the rim. So now you have a situation where Shai Gilgeous, where whether Chet Holmgren is spotting up in the corner or setting him a screen, that ability or that threat of him being able to knock down that three-point shot just opens up so much for the Oklahoma City Thunder offense. It's now forcing teams to stay home on all four of these guys, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting a lot of more one-on-one looks, a lot of more one-on-one situations, and then it's just leading to wide open three-point shots when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting to his spot relentlessly, and now the coach is throwing in the towel and say, we're going to make somebody else beat us. And now the Oklahoma City Thunder has all these shooters around Shai Gilgeous, and one of them is Chet Holmgren, who's knocking it down at a 40% clip. And he does it, and he isn't just out there shooting threes. He's also a release for these guards, for guys like Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous in pick and roll situations. He can slip the screen, he can stop in the mid range on the short roll, he can knock down the shot. He's skilled enough to put the ball on the floor and make a pass, and he's a great finisher around the rim, and he's also a lob threat. So I think the emergence and the arrival of Chet Holmgren and the way that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is able to score the basketball and put pressure on the defense, that alone creates so much easy offense for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, and we just talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder's offense for a very long time, but I definitely think it was necessary because the offensive system that they have in place, I believe it is very hard to stop. But nonetheless, another thing I want to look at, and why I think the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to have long-term success over the season, finishing the season, and I think they're definitely going to be into the playoffs this year, is that they have guys that fill the roles that's needed to be competitive in playoff basketball, competitive when it comes to winning NBA championships. You look at them defensively, they have a guy that you can put on the opposing team's best wing scorer and say, make him go work for his buckets, make him stress tonight, give him hell, and that's Lu Dort. Lu Dort is one of the best perimeter defenders in all of the NBA. He stands at 6'4". He's built like a football player, and I'm pretty sure he's extremely strong because he does a great job of fighting through screens. He's very quick, very athletic, and then he also does a great job switching onto bigger players as well. And then staying on the defensive side of the ball, another thing you need is a rim protector, and they have that in Chet Holmgren, and we talked about how special he was offensively and how he's taking the teams to new levels. He's doing that on the defensive side of the ball. So far this season, he's averaging 2.1 blocks per game, and when you have that intimidator factor down there, it definitely changes the way a team attacks your defense. They tend to not go down there and take more jump shots. And then also, we go back to the offensive side of the ball. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they have so many guys that's shooting the three ball at a high clip. We talked about how, as of right now, how they rank #1 in the league in three-point percentage. As an entire unit, they're shooting 41% from the three-point line. We look at some of the snipers on this team. Lu Dort right now is shooting 45% from the three-point line, which is crazy. J-Dub and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are knocking down their three ball at a 36% clip. We look at some of the guys on the bench. Isaiah Joe has been ridiculous from the three-point line this season. It seems like every single time I turn on a Thunder game, Isaiah Joe is not missing threes. And then also the rookie, Cason Wallace, he's knocking down his three-point shot at a 54% clip. So they just have so many guys that's knocking down the three-point shot at a high level. They also have guys on the court that can make plays for themselves and make plays for them others other than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can run this offense through Josh Giddey, who's getting better at creating for himself and knocking down his perimeter shot. So I really like this Oklahoma City Thunder team a lot, and I don't like them at the same time because I know they're gonna end up running into a team that I like in the playoffs, a team like the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm not even really a big Lakers fan, I'm just a huge LeBron James fan, and I could see them giving the Lakers a lot of trouble around the playoff time. But nonetheless, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.